Hello, it's Tom LaForce, and today I have another video for you about the power of asynchronous collaboration. For more than 25 years, I've been teaching people to run better meetings. In that time, I've gotten more than an earful about bad meetings. I'm confident when I say there is one meeting type that easily rises to the top of the world's most hated meetings list. It's the status meeting. These meetings deserve every bit of scorn they get. These days, there's really no excuse for having one. In this short video, I want to teach you how to replace status meetings with an async solution. Now, before you ditch your status meetings, I want you to think about why you have them in the first place. There are typically two reasons for this meeting. The first is to keep everyone in the loop about what others are working on. The hope is that this knowledge will somehow expose potential problems and create brilliant insights that lead to better outcomes. The second is for accountability. By forcing people to share their updates, managers assume people are more likely to keep their promised deadlines. So what's the problem with these meetings? Well, the main issue is that participants spend a lot of time sitting through these updates and they don't get value from them. Each person has his or her few minutes in the spotlight to share an update and then sits quietly, mostly waiting for the meeting to end. Preventing problems is a noble goal, but there's a better way. Now, project teams are by far the biggest users of status meetings. The second use case would be departmental staff meetings. This is often a common element in those meetings where we go around the room and just people kind of give each other updates, I guess. Uh, they're both different situations or circumstances, and they really each deserve their own kind of solution to it, an async solution to it. So we'll look at them separately. Now, project teams typically have a long list of tasks that need to be completed by a certain date in order to keep things on track. The project manager, of course, has a strong need to know the status of all these action items, but so do the team members who may need to know whether another teammate is done with his or her tasks so that this person can get their job done. The project manager likely is tracking the progress using some sort of tool. Now, to make this leap to async rather than doing a meeting, all the project manager really needs to do is to use the tool, but to give everyone access to it and have them make their own updates. They could update the tool when a task is complete, or when a problem crops up, or when the task owner needs some help. Let's look at an example. Suppose your team has been assigned a project to convert the company's in-person onboarding program to something that can be delivered remotely. The program has 10 modules that cover a wide range of topics from company values to employee benefits and product overviews. Your high-level plan is to stick with the same modules but redesign each so that they are optimized for remote delivery. Now you see the project rolling out like this. Each module is going to work its way through a series of phases. And in this case, you found 6 of them. There's design, develop, review, revise, implement, and eventually evaluate that module. Now, while the work of each module will be done collaboratively, each will have a single team owner who is responsible for it. There are plenty of tools that could do this work. One of my favorites is Trello. It's simple and it's a collaborative Kanban style tool that offers a ton of flexibility. This is what it would look like in our example. You'd set up what Trello calls a project board, and across the top you'd put some phases. So let me show you the board. So you can see across the top we've added these phases here. Our design, develop, review, revise, implement, evaluate. Now I added another phase or column, and it's just titled it waiting to start. Inside each phase, you can put cards, And in this case, the cards represent our 10 modules. So you've got mission and value, company history, and on and on and on. So that's what the board looks like. Now, the good part is you can really start adding a lot more information into the board, particularly into the cards. So let me show you that. So I pulled up one card. You can start by giving it a title. Let's say the module that we're working on here is the employee success strategies. And you add a description. So maybe the goal of this module is to help new employees quickly learn how to be more successful members of the company. If there are multiple people working on the project, you might want to include that as well. And even a due date. And in this case, maybe it's the date that you want the module to be ready to implement. And it's at this point that collaboration, async collaboration, which again means it doesn't all have to happen at once. It can happen sort of across place and time. This is where the async collaboration really begins. Maybe the first thing the owner does is to create a checklist. And the checklist can be lots of different things. It could be a list of subtasks. In this case, we've got the owner has created a checklist and made it the module topics. So in employee success strategies, there's going to be some part of it's going to be about teamwork, about action orientation, and on and on. Now down below in this area right here, we have activity. And this is where a lot of collaboration can happen. Now I can write a note about where something is in terms of progress on a particular task. I could raise up an issue or call people's attention to a problem. I could ask a specific question. And if my teammates, when they see that, they can reply right in the same thread. So it's all nice and neat and easy to follow. As the work proceeds and you start moving modules to the new phases, you actually show that on the board. So here you see that we took we took a lot of them out of waiting to start and we put them into other phases. And that simply is just drag and click. I should say click and drag, right? That's how that works. The other thing I showed you though was that you can add images if you want, just to spice it up a little bit. But so we're saying, look, our customer module and our workplace policies module is now in the design phase. Products is in review, and we've gotten benefits as far as revise. I mean, the goal here obviously is cards move from the left of this board to the right, and what that shows is they're getting closer and closer to being finished. So think about this. If everyone diligently keeps the board updated, why would there ever need to be a status meeting? I mean, anyone on the team who needs to know the status can simply check the board. Anyone who has any issue can raise it on the board and ask for help. And if the team does decide to meet, hopefully it's going to be for, doing something that matters, a deep dive into a thorny issue, or maybe to celebrate the completion of a major milestone. So now let's look at the second case, doing status updates during a staff meeting. These aren't really tied to any project. They're more commonly thought of as an opportunity for people to tell each other what they're working on, and maybe to do some sort of collaborative problem solving. Here's the bad news. When you do this in your staff meeting, most of your team members, well, they don't really care what anyone else is working on unless it directly affects them. And most of the time, unfortunately, it doesn't. For this example, let's assume your team is a 5-person accounts payable department. You also have access to Microsoft Teams, which you really haven't used much before, but now you're going to make good use of it. So you go to Teams, and under the accounts payable tab, you add a couple extra channels. In this case, we've got help wanted and then another channel called insights, ideas, and tips. And the help wanted channel is a place where people can start conversations about uh, a problem or an issue that needs attention. And the idea is in tips section here or channel is where you can share information that you just think is going to benefit your teammates. Maybe you found a new way of doing something or something was brought to your attention that you really think everybody else needs to know about. And the way it works is whether it's help wanted or insights, you start a new conversation within that channel. And if you do it well, you raise a really specific question, you make a really specific request, and then people, again, they reply right there in that conversation until hopefully you get some sort of solution or resolution. Or if it's the case of just sharing information, people take that information and use it to make their work better. This idea is one that I'm sure you're hoping would happen in your meetings, your synchronous meetings, your in-person meetings, but it probably rarely does. Try it this way once and see if you don't get better results and save everyone a whole lot of time. Now I know what you're thinking. Nobody's going to contribute anything and might not even read the discussions. To be fair, I'd be worried about this too. That's why you, as a leader, you need to roll this concept out with purpose and a little bit of persistence. Help people see why it's of value to them. Lead by your example, jump on the board, participate, publicly reinforce people who are contributing, and privately talk to employees about your expectations that they jump in and participate. I can't think of a better task to move from a meeting format to an asynchronous solution than this idea of status sharing. It's the perfect solution for this. Are you ready to give it a try? Let me know if you need help establishing these new practices. I'm all about helping companies succeed through better collaboration, and I'd be happy to help you successfully roll this out.